Sometimes a brand can become so successful that it becomes synonymous with the product itself. For example, what do you call this? Well, in the UK, most British people would refer to it as a Hoover, even if it isn't actually made by Hoover. In fact, this particular drawing here looks suspiciously like an Electrolux vacuum cleaner, but a lot of people would actually call it a Hoover, and that's because when vacuum cleaners were first introduced, the most popular brand was a Hoover. And you can see here's a rather ancient looking Hoover vacuum cleaner, but that was where the origin came from. And you can see here that it now has its own entry in dictionary.com. It's used as both a noun and a verb. People will say, I'm going to hoover the carpet, even if they're not actually using a Hoover branded vacuum cleaner. Let me give you another example. What would you call this piece of office equipment? Well, if you're watching this in North America, chances are you'll refer to it as a Xerox machine, even if it isn't really made by Xerox. And this one, I believe, is actually a Canon photocopier. And here's actually one that's made by Xerox. And once again, it also has now its own entry into the dictionary, Xerox. It can be used as a trademark, and it's a brand name for a photocopier machine. It's a noun, a copy made on a xerographic copy machine. It can be called, here we have a Xerox of whatever. And just like with Hoover, it can also be used as a verb. I'm just going to Xerox this document for you. And a more modern example from the online world is, well, this one. What do you do when you want to look something up online? Chances are you Google it. And again, of course, Google now has its own dictionary entry as well. Google has become both a noun for trademark and a verb. Like it says here, we Googled the new applicant to check her background. And it can also be used as a verb with an object as well. We can Google something for you. So Google has now become synonymous with doing a search for something on the internet. And all this can be a double-edged sword. On the plus side, your brand has become so embedded in public consciousness that it's what people think of when they look for your product type. You have now got to the forefront of their memory, so when somebody wants to look up something on the internet, for example, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to go to Google and look it up. On the downside, well, this can place your brand and your trademark, if you have one, in danger of being declared a generic word by the courts. And I know that Xerox are particularly concerned about this happening, to the point where they've actually taken out the big advertising campaign to try and stop people using the word Xerox as a verb. Okay, in the next video, I'm going to talk you through some of the most successful logos ever invented.